In the darkest corners of the ocean, where sunlight has never touched, a small, terrifying creature drifts in silence. With needle-like teeth, a bloated body, and a glowing light dangling from its head. It looks like something from a nightmare. Meet the anglerfish, one of the most bizarre, mysterious, and perfectly adapted predators of the deep sea. The anglerfish gets its name from the elongated dorsal spine on its head, a natural fishing rod. At the end of it, a fleshy bulb glows in the dark, thanks to bioluminescent bacteria living inside. This eerie light pulses in the abyss, mimicking the flickers of smaller prey. And when a curious fish gets too close, snap, it's swallowed, whole in an instant. Anglerfish don't chase. They don't swim fast. They wait in absolute stillness for prey to come to them. Their wide mouths can snap open quickly, and their expandable stomachs let them devour prey almost as large as themselves. In the deep sea, where food is rare, that kind of opportunistic feeding is everything. But perhaps the most shocking part of the anglerfish's life is its bizarre method of reproduction. The males, they're tiny. In some species, the males are 100 times smaller than the females. They don't live for long, and they don't eat. Instead, their only job is to find a female, bite into her body, and fuse with her. Forever. He becomes a permanent parasite, sharing her blood supply and offering sperm when needed. One female can carry several males, a strange kind of deep-sea harem. There are more than 200 species of anglerfish, and many of them glow. But not all look the same. Some have strange fins, some have transparent bodies, and others have antennae-like structures with multiple lures. What unites them is their ability to survive invisible in places of crushing pressure, freezing temperatures, and eternal night. In the shadowy depths of our planet, the anglerfish reigns, a grotesque marvel of evolution. It reminds us that life can adapt in unimaginable ways, even in total darkness. And while it may look like a monster, it's just another creature trying to survive in a world we still barely understand. Deep below the surface, where the sunlight fades and pressure mounts, a sudden flash of red light pierces the blackness. It looks like a strobe in slow motion. Pulsing, spinning, glowing. This is no ordinary jellyfish. This is the Atolla Jellyfish, a creature with its own built-in alarm system. And it just might be the strangest jellyfish you've never seen. Unlike most jellyfish that simply float and sting, the Atolla has a unique trick. It flashes like an emergency beacon when it senses danger. These pulses of light swirl like a vortex, meant not to scare the predator, but to attract an even bigger predator. It's like yelling, "Hey, someone's attacking me. Come eat them instead." This defense is called a burglar alarm strategy, one of the rarest survival tactics in the animal kingdom. The Atolla jellyfish is small, usually only a few inches wide, but it's built for the pressures of the deep. Its body is shaped like a flattened saucer, almost alien in appearance. Around its outer edge are dozens of short tentacles, plus one long trailing tentacle that can be up to 5 times the body length. This long tentacle helps. It scents the environment and maybe even trap prey. But unlike most jellyfish, the Atolla doesn't use brute force to feed. It relies on being invisible until it absolutely needs to be seen. The Atolla glows red, a color you might think is bold and visible. But here's the twist. In the deep sea, red is invisible. Most deep sea creatures can't detect red light at all. It vanishes into darkness within meters of depth. So the Atolla can use red bioluminescence to remain hidden, or to send secret signals that only the right creatures can see. Think of it like whispering with light in a world of shadows. Atolla. Jellyfish are found all over the world, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, usually in the twilight zone. Between 600 to 3,000 feet deep. Here, they drift in the open water column, far from the seafloor, part of a slow-motion ballet of glowing life forms. And despite their fragile appearance, they're survivors, adapted to one of the harshest, most mysterious places on Earth. They may look alien, but they are a reminder that even the smallest creatures have powerful tools for survival. The Atolla Jellyfish is more than just a blinking light in the deep. It's a symbol of how evolution can shape beauty, strategy, and survival in one tiny, floating body. A living alarm system, invisible until it's not, hiding in plain sight beneath the waves. It's one more strange wonder from the greatest, unknown on Earth. The deep sea. In the darkest parts of the ocean, where the sun cannot reach, tiny flickers of light drift like stars. But these aren't reflections or illusions. They're real, living, shining dot beneath the lanternfish, one of the most abundant and mysterious glowing creatures in the sea. Though it's barely the size of your finger, this tiny fish is a major force in the planet's ecosystems, and one of the ocean's most brilliant secrets. The lanternfish gets its name from the way it glows. It has photophores, special light-producing organs that line its body in intricate patterns. These glowing dots flash and shimmer in blues, greens, and sometimes even violet. But this glow isn't just for show. It's a tool for camouflage, communication, and survival. The lanternfish uses light to hide in plain sight, blending into the faint glow of the surface when viewed from below. A strategy called counter-illumination. Every night, billions, yes, billions of lanternfish rise from the depths in the world's largest migration. They swim up from over 1,000 meters deep to feed near the surface under cover of darkness. Then, before dawn, they sink back down into the abyss. This nightly journey, called diel vertical migration, moves more biomass than any other movement on Earth, even more than the migration of birds or wildebeest. And it all happens silently, invisibly, just a few hundred feet beneath passing ships. Despite being so small, most lanternfish are only 2 to 4 inches long. They're everywhere. Scientists believe they make up as much as 65% of all deep-sea fish biomass. That's hundreds of trillions of individuals. And because of that, lanternfish are a vital food source for nearly everything, from squids and sharks to whales and seabirds. They are the silent engine of the ocean food chain. Lanternfish have evolved to survive crushing pressures, freezing temperatures, and total darkness. Their bodies are soft and flexible, designed not for speed, but for energy efficiency. Some species even have tuned light organs that match the color of their environment to avoid detection by predators. With color-sensitive eyes, others can alter their light patterns to signal to mates or warn off threats. In a world where sight is rare, light is everything. The lanternfish may not be famous. It doesn't have fangs like the anglerfish or an alien look like the Atolla Jellyfish, but it plays a role that few others can match. A glowing navigator of the deep, a silent traveler of the twilight zone, and the beating heart of an invisible migration that fuels life in the ocean. In the deep sea, the brightest creatures aren't always the biggest, just the most important dot in the pitch-black ocean depths. A sudden glow flickers, then another and another. Like a storm of tiny blue stars, a glowing creature rises in formation. This is the Firefly Squid, one of the ocean's most enchanting and mysterious bioluminescent animals. With a body barely the size of your hand, it puts on a light show that rivals the night sky. But this light isn't just beauty, it's a survival tool, a mating signal, and a defense weapon, all rolled into one. The Firefly Squid's glow comes from specialized organs called photophores, which cover its entire body, including the head, tentacles, and even eyes. These photophores emit bright blue light, a rare and powerful wavelength that travels far in water. But it's not random. The Firefly Squid can control each photophore individually, turning them on or off like lights on a dashboard. This gives it an astonishing ability to flash, blink, and even form glowing patterns. Every spring, along the shores of Japan's Toyama Bay, millions of firefly squid rise from the deep in one of nature's most dazzling rituals. As they reach the surface to spawn, their glowing bodies light up the waves in brilliant blue. It's like watching lightning trapped in the sea. Scientists call it one of the greatest natural spectacles on Earth. But behind the beauty is a sad truth. This is their final dance. After mating, the firefly squid dies, its glow fading with its last heartbeat. The firefly squid uses its bioluminescence for more than display. It's a language of survival. It flashes its lights and coded signals to attract mates or confuse predators. When threatened, it can release a glowing cloud of light, like a smoke bomb, giving it time to escape. Some believe it even uses its lights to communicate with others, blinking in sequences that may carry meaning. A tiny squid, with the brain of a trickster and the precision of a dancer. One of the firefly squid's most unusual traits is its asymmetrical eyes. That's right, it has one eye that looks upward and another that looks down. The top-facing eye is larger and more sensitive to faint light, helping it detect shadows from above. The lower eye is tuned for close-range detection, scanning the dark depths below. In a 360-degree world of danger, this squid has evolved to see what others miss. The firefly squid is a reminder of what's possible in the deep, a creature that uses light as language, that glows not just to be seen, but to survive, attract, and escape. In a world where most things live in darkness, it is the ocean's rare performer, a tiny, glowing dancer with a short life, but a legacy of wonder. It floats silently, tentacles spread wide like a cloak, its eyes glowing red in the blackness. It's not a squid. It's not an octopus. This is the vampire squid, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, which translates to vampire squid from hell. But don't be fooled by the name. This deep-sea creature is no bloodthirsty monster. It's a living fossil, a ghost, from a time before the dinosaurs, and one of the strangest animals ever discovered in the deep. The vampire squid is a biological mystery. It looks like a squid, but it doesn't behave like one. It resembles an octopus, but it's not quite that either. In fact, it belongs to its own unique order of animals, a surviving relic from over 300 million years ago. It has 8 arms, like an octopus, but also 2 thin filaments it can retract. Unlike any squid, its body is gelatinous, soft, and fragile, perfectly evolved to float effortlessly in the crushing pressure of the midnight zone, over 3,000 feet below the surface. When threatened, the vampire squid performs one of the most eerie displays in the ocean. It turns itself inside out, flipping its arms over its body like a black cloak. Its bright blue-tipped arms vanish, replaced by rows of fearsome-looking spines. This defense posture isn't dangerous, but it looks terrifying. It's a bluff, a costume, a distraction meant to confuse predators. And in the silent dark, sometimes a convincing act is all it takes to survive. The vampire squid may live in darkness, but it carries its own light. Along its arms and body are photophores, tiny organs that emit soft, pulsing blue light. But that's not all. It can eject clouds of glowing mucus, bursting into a haze of blue sparks that linger in the water. This bioluminescent smoke bomb gives the vampire squid time to vanish into the black. Unlike other squids, it doesn't use ink. Ink doesn't work at these depths. Light is the only weapon in the abyss. The vampire squid doesn't chase prey. It doesn't fight. It drifts. In the oxygen-poor waters of the deep. It survives with one of the lowest metabolic rates of any cephalopod. It feeds on marine snow, a rain of dead plankton, fecal matter, and organic debris that falls from above. Using its sticky filaments, it collects particles from the water and brings them to its mouth, slow, deliberate, and energy efficient. A quiet scavenger in a world of stillness, a creature of ancient design, doing what it must to endure. The vampire squid is a creature of paradox, named after a monster, yet fragile and harmless, from hell, but peaceful, drifting in silent grace. It doesn't fight, it doesn't hunt. It simply exists in a place most animals cannot survive. A symbol of resilience, evolution, an ancient beauty dot in the deepest part of the ocean, where time stands still. The vampire still floats dot in the deep ocean. Light is rare, and survival depends on deception. But one fish doesn't just survive here. It hunts with light dot. Meet the Stoplight Loosejaw, Malacosteus. Niger, a predator with a terrifying face. And even more terrifying technology. This deep-sea assassin isn't just bizarre in appearance. It has evolved the biological laser, an evolutionary hack unlike anything else in the ocean dot. It sees in a color that most sea creatures can't detect, and kills in total silence. The Stoplight Loosejaw gets its name from its jaw, and for good reason. Its lower jaw is disconnected from its skull, connected by just a strip of muscle and skin that gives it an unhinged mechanical motion capable of snapping shut like a bear trap. And it needs that speed because prey is scarce in the midnight zone. When a shrimp or small fish passes by, the loosejaw opens its mouth wide and strikes in the blink of an eye. There are no second chances. In the deep, but what truly sets this fish apart is the color of its bioluminescence. While most deep-sea creatures glow blue or green, the Stoplight Loosejaw emits red light. That might seem strange. Red light doesn't travel far in water dot, but that's exactly the point dot in the deep sea. Most animals are blind to red light, but the loosejaw isn't dot. It has specialized retinal pigments that let it see the red light it produces, essentially giving it night vision goggles dot. It can spotlight prey without them ever knowing. The Stoplight Loosejaw doesn't rely on just one type of light. It has two photophores under each eye, one that shines red, the other greenish-blue. The red beam is for stealth hunting. The blue beam? That's for signaling. Scientists believe it may use different colors to communicate, disorient prey, or even lure in a meal dot in the deep, where no sunlight shines. Having your own flashlight system makes you a king. The Stoplight Loosejaw lives between 500 to 1,000 meters deep, right on the edge of the twilight and midnight zones. The light is the one who lives dot. It appears as a shimmer in the darkness, a glow with no body, a ripple of light where nothing should be. Meet the crystal jelly, Aquaria victoria, a transparent, otherworldly creature that drifts through. The coastal waters of the Pacific Ocean dot is not just beautiful, it's revolutionary, because inside this glowing ghost lives the secret of bioluminescence, a biological phenomenon that has transformed medicine, science, and our understanding of light itself. Dot at first glance, the crystal jelly looks like a drop of glass gently pulsing through the sea. Its body is almost completely transparent, with no skeleton, no brain, and no blood. But don't mistake it for simple dot. It has more than 100 delicate radial canals and up to 150 marginal tentacles surrounding its bell. These help it feel vibrations and respond instantly to movement. A sensory network instead of a brain dot. It's a floating neural net of nature, engineered for elegance dot. What makes the crystal jelly truly legendary isn't just how it looks, it's what it contains. Inside its cells are two glowing molecules, achorin and GFP, green fluorescent, protein. These proteins allow the jelly to produce green light when disturbed or touched. But in labs around the world, that same protein now glows in petri dishes, cancer cells, and genetic experiments. Scientists use GFP from crystal jelly to tag and trace living cells, revolutionizing biology. a deep-sea jellyfish, helped humanity see inside itself. Despite its delicate look, the crystal jelly is a predator. It feeds on tiny zooplankton, comb jellies, and even other jellyfish. It uses its marginal tentacles to trap drifting prey, pulling it into its stomach. Through a central opening, the glow is not just for show. It can be a defense mechanism, startling predators, or attracting mates. In the dim twilight zone, around 300 meters deep, glowing softly is how you communicate. A signal, a warning. Advance in the dark. Crystal jellies are found mostly off the west coast of North America, especially near Washington and British Columbia. They rise closer to the surface at night and sink by day, following the deep's invisible currents. And they live short, delicate lives, vanishing as silently as they arrive. But their legacy is eternal. The discovery of GFP led to a Nobel Prize in chemistry. And today, that protein is used in brain research, cancer therapy, gene editing, and cloning. Not bad for a see-through jelly drifting in the Pacific. It doesn't have eyes, bones, or even a heart. But the crystal jelly has lit the way for scientists and explorers alike. In its translucent body, we found one of the greatest tools in modern science. A creature so fragile, it can vanish with a ripple. And yet, it glows. Forever in labs, journals, and discoveries across the globe. The crystal jelly reminds us, sometimes the most powerful light. It stalks. It doesn't shine, it lurks. And when it strikes, its prey doesn't even see it coming. Welcome to the realm of the armored assassin of the deep. The scaly dragonfish, or Stomia's boa, may only grow to about 30 centimeters, but don't let its size fool you. This fish is built for stealth warfare. Its body is lined with diamond-shaped scales that shimmer like armor plating. These scales reflect light in strange ways, helping the fish blend in completely with the background. Even its skin is coated in anti-reflective properties, rendering it almost invisible in the deep. Look closely, and you'll understand why it's called a dragonfish. Its long body ends in a massive, hinged jaw lined with needle-sharp fangs. These teeth are so transparent and finely constructed that they are nearly invisible underwater, giving prey no warning before the strike. And right under its chin, a glowing lure or barbel that dangles like a hypnotist's pendulum. It flashes, pulses, and draws victims in, only for the trap to snap shut in milliseconds. Bioluminescence isn't just for hunting, it's for survival. The scaly dragonfish has photophores, tiny light-producing organs, along its belly. But here's the twist. It uses counter-illumination. That means it matches the light from the ocean's surface, hiding its silhouette from predators below. In other words, it turns itself invisible from every angle. And if something bigger approaches, it simply vanishes into the glow. The scaly dragonfish doesn't waste its shots. It waits in perfect stillness, then lunges with jaws that unhinge like a snake's. Its stomach expands to hold prey even larger than itself. But this predator is also part of the food chain. Sometimes larger hunters, like squid or sperm whales, snatch them from the shadows. In the battle of glow and shadow, there are no guarantees, only hunger, stealth, and the next silent ambush. The scaly dragonfish is more than just a fish. It's a biomechanical marvel, invisible, armored, glowing, and merciless. From its transparent teeth to its stealthy skin, every detail is designed for deadly efficiency in the world's harshest environment. In the deep, there are no second chances. The glow you see might be your last. And somewhere in the black, the scaly dragonfish waits. Teeth ready. Lights on. Shadow where no sunlight ever reaches. Something glows, something strange, and then suddenly, it explodes. Not with fire, but with light. Meet the green bomber worm, a creature that doesn't just shine, it detonates. The green bomber worm, Swima bombiviridis, was discovered only recently off the coast of California, nearly 3,000 meters below the surface dot. It doesn't have fangs, claws, or venom. But what it does have is a secret bioluminescent weapon. When threatened, this worm ejects glowing green sacs from its body, glowing bombs that light up the sea like underwater flashbangs. These aren't just random flashes. They're precision defense mechanisms, used to distract predators while the worm swims away. The green bomber worm is only a few centimeters long, delicate, transparent, and alien in appearance. Its body is shaped like a torpedo, streamlined for speed. And at its head, small bristles and feathery appendages that help it glide through water with grace. But what sets it apart are the specially modified, gill-like sacs on its body. These are its palms. Unlike anything else in the ocean, these sacs detach, glow furiously, and then vanish. Its biological pyrotechnics in action. In the deep sea, light is everything, and nothing. It attracts, distracts, warns, and lures. The green bomber worm uses its glow purely for defense. Imagine a predator approaching. Just as it's about to strike, a burst of green light blinds its vision, giving the worm a precious second to dart away. Scientists believe this glow mimics prey or startles attackers. A classic case of, look at that, not at me. The green bomber worm represents something remarkable, evolution at its most creative. It doesn't fight. It doesn't hide. It survives through illumination, distraction, and speed. And though it was discovered in the 21st century, who knows how long it's been perfecting this defense mechanism in the dark. In the eternal night of the ocean floor, this tiny worm lights its own path, one glowing bomb at a time. In a world ruled by darkness, the green bomber worm has learned not to fight fire with fire, but to fight darkness with light. It's not a predator, not a hunter, but it's one of the few creatures that knows how to disappear in plain sight. No armor, no weapons, just a few seconds of glowing brilliance, and a perfect getaway. In the darkest layers of the ocean, far beneath the sunlit waves, an ancient warrior drifts, small, armored, and glowing. It doesn't bite, doesn't sting, but if threatened, it spits glowing blue fire into the water. Meet the glowing spewing shrimp, a creature that turns the deep sea into a battlefield of light. The glowing spewing shrimp isn't a monster from legend. It's very real and very weird, most likely. Belonging to the genus Acanthophyra, this deep-sea shrimp has evolved a radical defense. It can spew a cloud of bioluminescent chemicals directly from its mouth. Think of it like a deep-sea ink cloud, but instead of black, it glows bright blue, a living, glowing smokescreen designed to blind and confuse predators. The shrimp's secret weapon lies in its biology. It produces luciferin and luciferase, the same chemical mix that powers many bioluminescent species. But instead of using the glow to lure prey or attract mates, this shrimp turns it into a chemical light bomb. The moment danger approaches, it opens its mouth and violently ejects the luminescent fluid, coating its attacker in glowing slime. Predator is left glowing, confused, and vulnerable. Meanwhile, the shrimp slips away, disappearing into the black. The glowing spewing shrimp grows only about 10 to 15 centimeters long, but it's one of the most advanced defenders in the deep sea. Its exoskeleton is semi-transparent, allowing it to hide in the darkness. But when danger finds it, that invisibility flips into a burst of bright chemical warfare. Some scientists compare it to a deep-sea military flare. Others call it the fire-breathing shrimp. But whatever. Name it goes by. One thing is certain. You don't want to be the predator on the receiving end. What's most fascinating is how targeted this shrimp's defense really is. It doesn't light up randomly. It waits, times it. Then, BOOM, precise, focused spray. Not to attack, but to embarrass the predator by marking it as glowing prey dot in the deep sea. Glowing means vulnerability dot, so by coating the attacker in light, the shrimp makes sure it won't be followed dot. It's nature's version of saying, if I'm going down, so are you. But most of the time, it doesn't go down at all dot. It vanishes dot in a world where brute force often rules. The glowing, spewing shrimp proves there's another way. A way of chemistry, precision, and clever escape dot no fangs. No poison dot, just a perfectly timed burst of light that buys it the only thing it needs, a second chance to survive.